Hey guys, my name's David. If I haven't met you before, I'm glad to join you via video here. And I've got 4 kids. My oldest is Noah, and then I've got 3 younger daughters. And I was reflecting, even as I'm giving this talk, that just today I had to correct my son. He's the biggest, he's the strongest, he's got the most energy, he constantly wants to wrestle, fight, bug his sisters, and I'm constantly telling him, hey bud, tone it back. You gotta be gentle. You gotta be less aggressive. And I was just struck by how prevalent of a message this is for us as men. That as grown up in our homes and at school, we've been told regularly, tone it back. You're too strong. You've got too much energy. And I think we've taken that message to heart. And certainly the guys that we're working with question, is it okay to be a man? Is it okay to be strong? Is it okay to take risks? We haven't been given those opportunities. So as we're talking about how do we build a culture in UCO where we're helping men become strong men, I think we got to talk about one key step is, and there's a bunch of different words we can use here, but basically giving men permission to be men, inviting them into manhood, giving them opportunities to grow, to take risks, and even commissioning men for different tasks. So I just want to share a couple stories of how this has worked in my life to help me grow. The first one, just along the lines of permission. Having permission to take risks, to be strong, to be a man. When I was just out of college, I wanted to take a sailing trip. My dad had just bought a new sailboat, a big sailboat, could sleep 6 guys, and I wanted to take a bunch of my friends out. I'd grown up sailing small, little, like 1-2 person sailboats, and I only sailed this big sailboat once for about an hour, but I figured, we can make it work. So I go out with a couple of friends. You guys know Andrew Davignon and Joseph Matthias, or Dallas Burkholder, Steve Logan, and we'd sail this boat up to Lake Michigan, Manistee area, and we're just going to get on the water and go as far as we can before we have to turn around and come back. Take a couple days, spend a couple nights out there. And when we get to the little marina in the channel, start setting up the boat, getting the mast up, the wind is just howling, whistling in the rigging. But we're like, whatever, and we get out, so we get on the boat, we take it out into the harbor just before we get out into Lake Michigan. And as we get near the mouth of the harbor, these huge waves start coming in. And I'm talking 6-foot waves, 8-foot waves, and I've just never seen waves this big. I'm an East Sider and not spent that much time on Lake Michigan. So I turned the boat back around inside the harbor and said, hey, Dad, you know how I'm taking this sailing trip and in your new boat? I have never seen waves or wind like this. It's pretty crazy out here. Could you check the weather for me? And what do you think? So he checks the weather for me, and he doesn't tell me this, but apparently the weather, and this is before smartphones really, the weather, there's a small craft advisory. So the wind and the waves are bad enough. They say boats under 40 feet should not be out on the water. It's dangerous. And we're a 26-foot boat, inexperienced crew, never having sailed in these conditions before. My dad doesn't tell me that. He just looks at the weather and he asks me, well, what do you think? And I said, I think we could do it. He says, go for it. And so we do. We turn out into the wind and waves. We almost die a couple of times. That's another story. But we don't die. And I was just struck by what a big deal. It can be just for someone to say, you've got permission. You've got permission to take a risk, to do something crazy. Sometimes we need to actually invite men into taking risks or being bold. And this can be in small ways, it can be in big ways, it can be handing guys a guitar who are just learning how to play guitar and saying, hey, guess what? You're leading worship at Lord's Day tonight. We invite guys into risks. I think of a story when my father-in-law, just before I got married, he was cutting down trees, Dave Hughes, cutting down trees. He had 3 dead poplar trees, and he wanted to fell them all. He wanted to land in a very specific spot, so he didn't kill anything else in his yard. So he hooked up a truck and a winch up to the tree, and we're yanking on it one way, and he goes out with the chainsaw, and he makes the notch cut, and then the hinge cut, and takes it down. I'm working the winch, bam, we land it right where we want to. The ground shakes, and we take the cable off that tree and we hook it up on the next tree, and I start walking back to the car to work the hitch, and he says, do you want to take the next one? I said, no, that's all right, I'm good. Yeah, no, you got it, no big deal. He just hands me the chainsaw and says, you take it. Crap, here I am with my father-in-law's chainsaw trying to cut down a tree. And I've maybe used a chainsaw once before in my life. And trying to land a tree in this exact spot, not kill my father-in-law, not destroy his yard. But I went out and, I made the cuts, and the tree came down, and I didn't die, and I didn't kill anybody. And that gave me a lot more confidence in how to use a chainsaw. I felt like, okay, no, I can do this. We need to think about opportunities to invite guys to take risks that they've never taken. They question. There's one question of, can I be a man? Is that accepted? There's another question of, am I a man? Do I have the strength? We don't have those opportunities, and so guys have that question. We need to invite them to test their strength and prove to themselves, yeah, I can be a man. I think the last word that I want to talk about is commission. Not only do we need to give men permission, an invitation, and opportunities, we actually have to commission. We need to create a culture where we're saying, bros, here's a task, here's an assignment, here's something that needs to get done, and you're the man. If you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And I think you can think of a ton of scriptural examples. God says to Isaiah, who will go for me? David offers this challenge when they're stuck, they're on the run. He says, oh, for a drink of water from the wells of Bethlehem that's being taken over by the enemy. So his 3 mighty men sneak in and draw water from the center of the town, just a cup of water to bring back to their leader. Paul is commissioned to go preach the gospel to the Gentiles. We need opportunities to call men into something big. And it can be as big as doing staff work, or it could be as small as taking on a service role somewhere. But we need to give men not only chances and opportunities, but a real call and commission. Say, this is on you. If you don't do it, nobody else will. My question for us guys is, how do we build these things into our UCO culture? How do we make our men's environment, our environment overall, something where men have new opportunities to grow in being a man, new opportunities to test their strength, and then sometimes fail, and yet learn from that and grow in that. We are not going to be strong men. We're not going to be the men that we're supposed to be unless we have regular opportunities and are inviting guys into that. So, I wish you the best of luck as you guys engage in your UCO work this year. I pray that the Lord give you the opportunities to grow in manhood and to invite other guys. That one's not going to stand up. Invite other guys into being men. Peace.